Hey guys, this is YouTuber TOWNSEND, and today we're going to watch an episode of World's Worst Drivers Caught on Tape, and I'm going to do sort of like a reaction to it, because I haven't seen this video before, so I thought, screw it, before I watch it, why don't we just do a reaction video on it? Because some of these are pretty stupid. Let's watch. Oh, where is he going?
Some people get behind the wheel of the car.
Straight into the police. Oh wow. Whoa.
Bad drivers are everywhere.
Reading a book, really?
And
oh my god.
Out of control.
Oh.
Now 100 miles an hour.
Wow. Tourist ticket up.
In the country, they drive cars, trucks, buses.
Oh my god, I wouldn't want my bus to be like that.
They're capable of doing or saying just about anything.
Is there any way that we can settle this through text?
You may think your mother-in-law
Can we
is
settle
the
this through
world's worst
sex,
driver.
really?
Ridiculous?
Or maybe the teenage kid down the street.
Oh
With
my
only
god.
your steering wheel, the worst is yet to come.
World's Worst Drivers Caught on Tape.
Good evening. I'm Sheriff John Bonnell. In my 27 years in law enforcement, I thought I'd seen every type of bad driving imaginable. But tonight, you're going to meet the worst of the worst. The most dangerous drivers ever to get behind the wheel. You better buckle up. You're in for the ride of your life. You've heard of the world's scariest police chases. Now here are some of the craziest. We start with the driver who just doesn't understand the basic principles of how to escape from the law. 30 feet on his left and 30 feet on his right, he decides to go right up the middle. Watch again. With a clear path on either side of him, he plows straight into the police car.
Did he want to hurt them? He might have been like, screw it, I just want to kill the
Then
cops
he
in
gets
the
out and
car.
runs straight into the arms of the police. Next time, he should hire a getaway driver. We've all seen drag racing, but how about racing in drag? Here the cops are chasing a man dressed in women's clothing.
Can you pull over for a police unit?
Well, when I get the makeup off, I will.
Why? Do they not want him to be on camera?
It's going to bother us at all.
It's going to bother me.
24 minutes later, the chase finally comes to an end.
Driver, step out of the car. Hands up. Take 3 steps out. 3 steps.
And there's our suspect, a 6-foot-tall man wearing a tight-fitting dress and nylon stockings.
When the officers first pulled him over, they had a wig and makeup on and was dressed in women's clothing, so that apparently is the reason that he didn't want to pull over for officers in the first place.
Even though the
He wanted to
suspect
look
does not do
snazzy
anything
for his big
dangerous,
business meeting.
Every cop knows that you can never be too careful when pulling over a bad driver. Now for another truly bizarre police pursuit. This one proves that you don't have to be a wanted criminal for the cops to be chasing you. All you have to be is a little confused. Like this woman, who was completely oblivious to the fact that the police had been pursuing her for nearly 10 miles.
She looks a bit smiley, like, what's this all about, officers?
That she observed the red lights and the sirens, but she didn't hear us ask for her to pull over and stop.
I had no idea why they were stopping, why they followed me. I had no idea whatsoever.
It's hard to imagine what was going through her mind when she saw all the cops behind her.
I had no idea. I thought they were escorting me home.
What?
Let's give her the benefit of the doubt.
You're not Lindsay Lohan, they're not going to give you an escort.
For the last 100 years. And I shall continue.
Not if you continue to disobey the law. Orange County, California. Here we see not one, but 2 senior citizens on the loose. After committing a minor traffic violation, they failed to realize that there was a parade of police behind them, ordering them to pull over. The chase finally comes to an end in front of this retirement home. Police surround the car and tell the women to get out, but the little old ladies refuse to cooperate and just sit there. The only way the police can get their attention is by breaking the window. In the end, the 65-year-old woman is charged with driving without a license and evading arrest.
What is she wearing on her head? Is that like a bandana?
I think the cops always end up on top. Think again. Here's one chase where they literally ended up on the bottom. During a high-speed pursuit through a quiet neighborhood, the suspect veered off the street and into a yard. His car flew over the pool. The officer's car didn't. Marilee Ibarra went outside and found a cop struggling to get out of his submerged vehicle.
As he swam to the top, he blew out bubbles like a fish would, but also started letting out a long stream of words that you cannot repeat.
Once he dried off, even the cop could see the humor in the mishap.
Is this good footage or what?
This is great footage.
It took tow trucks and emergency crews more than 5 hours to yank the squad car out of the deep end. As a result of the accident, the officer was given a new nickname by his fellow cop.
Oh.
Aquaman.
Aquaman? Wow.
Automobiles are powerful machines, and when they run amok and smash into unmovable objects like houses or buildings, those objects suddenly become movable. Very few things can stop an out-of-control vehicle. All you can really do is try to get out of the way. Like in this case, the cashier is going about her business, thinking it's just another night at the convenience store. But see the car careening around in the parking lot? I have a feeling we're about to meet a very bad driver.
Oh. Is that a thief, or is that just a bad driver?
It scared me to death. It kind of shook me up.
Because thieves
It
tend
sounded
to do
like a
that.
bomb going off, literally. I felt like little sprays of glass come at me, and
Fortunately, neither the cashier nor the driver was hurt. Here's another driver who thinks convenience stores would even be more convenient with a drive-through window. Fortunately, the cashier was far enough away from the impact.
I've actually
he
seen.
might have been
Okay,
killed.
I've actually seen this one before. This scene. I think in the end it was actually a thief stealing jewelry and stuff. Because I remember before I've seen that somewhere on another episode. That woman ran away, and then I think a bunch of guys came in and decided
But
to
the
steal
driver
stuff.
wasn't through yet. Watch as he enters the store.
Yeah, he's stealing
And
stuff.
then makes off with the ATM machine.
Yeah, he was after the ATM. That was it.
This guy wasn't just a bad driver, he was also a thief.
Yeah, a thief. I've seen that somewhere before.
Meet Bob Scott, mayor of Sioux City, Iowa. He's holding a press conference at City Hall, confident and fully prepared for anything they can throw at him. Except maybe this.
They're gonna throw chairs and knives, aren't they?
You're looking at a Pontiac that has just tried to crash Bob's press conference.
Or a car.
Watch as the driver decides to pull out and find a better parking space. Outside is proof that you can't fight City Hall, and you can't drive through it either. Most pizza parlors promise delivery to your door. This one went a little further. As the delivery girl pulled into the driveway, she stepped on the gas instead of the brake. And destroyed just about all of the family's worldly possessions.
Oh.
No dinner for this family. I hope she wasn't expecting a tip.
Oh, you're gonna have to tip them.
Coming up.
Oh!
Warning, bad drivers can be hazardous to your health.
Oh yeah, well, watch out!
Plus, a dangerous combination. Bad
I'm not too
driving.
sure if that's bad driving. Well, that one
Bad
definitely
driving
is.
conditions.
But that last one might have just been from the ice. Oh my god, that is the worst. That's the world's worst driver right there.
Then later,
Oh my god, is he
worst
seriously
drivers
trying to go
ever
under the
caught on
bridge?
tape.
When it rains or snows, we should all try to stay off the road as much as possible. But in the case of bad drivers, well, they shouldn't even be allowed out of the garage. Like this guy. Watch the way he handles the slippery road conditions, with speed and lots of it. This driver's a one-man demolition derby.
Oh, wow. That's just a complete dumb driver right there. Was that him?
Really not. Let's watch again as our insurance rates go up. Here we go, up on the curb. There's one sign, a car, another sign, and one more car for good measure.
I'd rather hit the cars than a live person. Anytime, I guess that's just natural.
And my coworker just came in and told me that my car had been hit. So that's all I know.
It's for sale.
Yeah, I wish he would have told it. I'd like to get a new car out of it. I wanted to come back and hit it again.
This footage comes from a video store in Minnesota where the employees working the counter just happened to be pointing their camera toward a dangerous intersection. Let's listen in.
Every car that's coming over the hill here has got, even the truck is literally, look out! Oh!
If you think that was a close call, wait till you see what happens next.
It's that car, isn't it?
Everybody that's made that turn is hit. Oh, there goes another one!
Was that guy just not watching for the car?
The pedestrian barely gets out of the way of the sliding sedan. The good news is the driver didn't hit him. The bad news is...
Whoa, that's an accident.
When driving in the snow, you should reduce your speed and remain at a safe distance from the vehicle in front of you. It's an important lesson that some drivers must learn the hard way. Here we see how one little accident on an icy road can lead to a major pileup. With such hazardous conditions, you would think that these drivers would slow down a little. Then again, maybe not.
We've got 6 vehicles in one spot, and I think we got a few up ahead.
Now the road is completely stacked up with cars. But that doesn't stop these drivers.
Do they think they can just barge their way through?
Right now! Stop here.
Despite all the damage, nobody gets hurt.
Everybody had to slow down for the first accident, and maybe a little bit too much excessive speed. I guess everybody applied too much to their brakes, and everybody just went sliding.
Okay, how hard can it be to make a left-hand turn in the snow? Apparently very hard. With so many bad drivers on the road, Officer Tony Cahill is called to the scene.
People are driving far too fast for the road conditions, sliding on the ice that's underneath the snow.
One after another, they spin out of control on the slippery corner.
People forever amazing me what they can and can't do with their vehicles.
Like this driver. First he loses control of his car. Then he loses a piece of his car.
Wow. Look at them all.
After watching one
They're not very fussy, are they?
failed to negotiate the turn, all Officer
They're like, screw it, that car's spinning out of control. Let's just speed around him. Okay, those cars didn't do too bad.
This unlucky motorist is stuck in one of the worst places imaginable. A narrow Ohio bridge known for freezing over in winter. The action is captured by the dashboard camera on the patrol car that's pulling up to assist. The trooper gets out to lend a hand. The two men have no idea that a trucker just lost control of his 18-wheeler.
Oh.
Reacting in a split second, the trooper pulls the driver to safety. Watch again. The trooper notices the truck going into a jackknife. The impact is devastating, sending the stalled car careening into the guardrail. Due to the trooper's quick thinking, neither man was hurt. That's what happens when drivers go too fast in the snow. Here's what happens when they go too fast in the rain.
Run!
This is called hydroplaning, and it nearly cost this man his life.
Well, hydroplaning is something that occurs during a wet, slippery condition. And it's basically the traction or the tread on your tires are filled with water to where it's actually lifted your vehicle off of the roadway. And what's going to happen is when you apply your brakes or you go to make a turn, you're not going to have any friction between your tires and the roadway. And it's going to cause your vehicle just to continue in motion in the direction it was going.
Watch closely as bad driving nearly claims another victim. Whenever a police officer pulls someone over for a traffic violation, the driver usually has some kind of excuse. And believe me, I've heard them all. Or so I thought. There are a lot of ways to get out of a speeding ticket. This driver knows none of them. Watch what happens when Trooper Stephen Murray walks up to this vehicle.
What's the date on that? I'll have to plead guilty if I got to work because I can't take the court to take the day off. Damn. Now just give me the damn thing. Let me get out of here. I didn't do nothing wrong, and I know I did. Now let me get the out of here. I ain't in no hurry, but I did want to get some kills for my dog. It's just about ready to get out of here. Give me that.
Can I explain it to you, sir, so you'll know what you need to do?
I know what I do. You're ripping me off, and I didn't deserve it because I didn't do nothing wrong.
When I stopped the vehicle, I went up.
Sounds like an auctioneer talking very quickly.
Crazy. Just started yelling and swearing, and I hadn't even told him why I stopped him yet.
Look, get someone in the 40 miles of whatever it is. I never saw the sign. I saw it 55, and I was doing 57. That's all I know.
Well, he was very upset. Irate would be a good description of this guy. He was totally like I was ruining his day, and all the planets in the universe just came out of line, and the sky came crashing down.
Now, are you a state or local? Looks like you're a state trooper. Get back and pick up some more guys and run up the deficit on the working man. Just give me the damn thing. Let me get out of here.
What I need you to do is sign the X so I can explain this to you. Green copy's for your record, sir.
I don't... All right.
White copy needs to be mailed in within 20 days.
Okay.
Make sure you read the...
I can't read, and I've put this stuff away.
I can't read?
I don't even look at it.
Inside, I basically want to laugh, but you can't laugh because then you're losing your control, but everything you're saying was just... It's hilarious. Read the instructions here. This says you have 20 days to respond to this summons. Read the back of this hard copy. This will explain how you can have a trial if you want one. On the back, that'll explain it. Attaches an envelope. See? Put a stamp on that, you mail that in. They'll tell you what to do.
I can afford the stamp.
The fine's right here, sir. It's $137.50.
You're crazy! I can't! You're crazy! My wife took money out of her damn account where she's working to pay my insurance so I wouldn't get picked up. You're crazy!
And he just kept swearing, and just the whole vehicle was rocking from side to side just because he was just going crazy in there.
So I wouldn't get picked up. You're crazy!
If you don't pick this up, sir, I'm going to summon you for littering.
I'll pick with 100. Are you crazy? I wasn't even speeding, you damn. $100 and some dollars.
There's some more right there.
I've never heard of a fine like that in my life, you.
I've never heard of a fine for littering.
Say, this is what happened. Most people think you're exaggerating. I mean, you're adding a little bit to it. You know, you're trying to make the case out a little bit more. And here's hard evidence that they actually say this stuff.
Let me get the out of your life, damn miserable.
Bye.
Coming up next, get out of the way. The most dangerous drivers of all, drunk drivers.
How much you had to drink tonight? You haven't had anything, okay. I'm going to remove your beer there.
Plus, a cop gets propositioned by a drunk driver.
Is there any way that we can sell this to check?
And later, road rage caught on tape.
Oh. Got some good old-fashioned road rage.
Without a doubt, the most dangerous drivers on the road are those irresponsible people who drink and drive. More than 17,000 people are killed each year by drunk drivers. It is a serious problem that concerns each and every one of us. And nobody encounters more drunk drivers than the Highway Patrol. As Deputy Sheriff John Lundy of Bonner County, Idaho will tell you, that can be extremely dangerous.
Sheriff K29, my truck's just been struck by a drunk driver. I'm en route.
Pretty much instinct is all I had to react with. All I saw was a vehicle coming towards me, and once I saw the vehicle, I only had reaction time. If I'd have paused or hesitated, I don't think I'd be here.
Sheriff Lundy gives chase.
My sole purpose and focus was on getting the guy stopped. He was coming into a small community there, and my concern was the safety of the public and the other motoring public that were on the road.
A mile down the highway, the driver pulls over. Naturally, Sheriff Lundy is a little upset.
It's their hands! Passenger, let me see your hands! Passenger, let me see your hands! You tell the passenger to put their hands up!
Backup arrives, and the sheriff wants answers.
What do you think you're doing? You just hit my truck.
I was forced over by a car.
What?
I was forced over by a car.
What other car?
Coming?
There was a car coming.
No.
It was on like an off-ramp. Why would there be a car coming?
Valid excuse.
Yeah, it don't look like no car was coming to me.
No oncoming car. The driver simply lost control of his vehicle.
How much you had to drink tonight?
I haven't had anything.
You haven't had anything, okay? You're slurring your words really bad, okay? I want to make sure you're not too intoxicated to be driving today. What do you got here in your pocket here?
The driver denies having had anything to drink, but look at what the sheriff finds.
I'm going to remove your beer there.
There's beer in his pocket.
It's a half-empty beer in the man's pocket.
Turn around, place your hands behind your back. You're under arrest for driving while under the influence of alcohol and hit and run.
As he is handcuffing the suspect, Sheriff Lundy can't help thinking how close he came to being killed.
The main thing that came through my mind at that time was fear. Never, ever did I think that a drunk driver would almost claim my life.
Sheriff Lundy was lucky. At least it was only his truck that was hit by the drunk driver. Trooper Sean Stankus wasn't so fortunate.
How are you doing?
The trooper has pulled over this car for speeding. But watch what happens next. In tremendous pain, Trooper Stankus staggers off to the side of the road. The replay shows that a pickup truck driving way too close to the breakdown lane smacks the officer in the back. The impact is so severe that the side mirror snaps off the speeding truck and lands in the middle lane. The passengers in the car get out to check on the injured trooper, but he's more concerned with catching the driver who ran into him. He hops in his patrol car and gives chase, finally tracking down the driver several miles down the road. A passerby has managed to pull over the truck and detain the driver until police arrive.
Oh, wow. That was
The
good.
hit-and-run driver is arrested for driving while intoxicated. Here we see the cops arresting a woman for outstanding warrants stemming from a previous drunk driving conviction. One of the officers handcuffs her, puts her in the back of his squad car, then goes back to interrogate the driver. But somehow, the double-jointed woman manages to twist her way out of the cuffs, climb into the front seat, and steal the patrol car.
Wow, that's some woman right there.
She barrels down the highway at speeds in excess of 100 miles per hour while police give chase. Finally, she loses control of the vehicle and skids to a stop. She is charged with escaping from custody, stealing a cop car, fleeing from authorities, and driving with a suspended license. The driver behind the wheel of this car is so drunk, he doesn't realize he is missing a tire.
There is a lot of debris coming off the vehicle. Speed now 100 miles an hour.
Police driving an unmarked squad car are tailing the suspect.
We've not attempted to stop this vehicle yet.
They don't pull over the car for fear that if the driver brakes, the missing wheel will send him into a tailspin. A police helicopter equipped with an infrared camera follows the pursuit. It might look like fireworks, but these are actually burning chunks of metal that are peeling off the vehicle and smashing into the squad car.
Yes, the vehicle now appears to have lost its wheel completely.
Still unaware that he's missing a wheel, the driver now accelerates to over
He's unaware?
10 miles per hour.
Is he blind?
He finally begins to slow down at an interchange.
Half a mile between us. Stand by, vehicle's gone over the centre reservation.
The suspect ends up on an adjoining roadway, where police order him over.
Vehicle slowing down. Vehicle now on hard shoulder at speed 30 miles an hour.
The reason for the driver's erratic behavior becomes clear when he gets out of his car. The suspect has consumed 2.5 times the legal limit for alcohol.
Oh.
Officials suspend his license for 4 years and slap him with a $2,000 fine.
1-2-3-4-4-3-2.
Midland, Texas. Trooper Don Williams has just pulled over a woman on suspicion of drunk driving.
We saw a car driving from lane to lane. And we decided to stop the car, see if the driver had been drinking.
You know the alphabet?
Trooper Williams gives her a sobriety test.
H-I-J-K-L-M-N-T.
She fails.
T-Q-R-C-X-Y-Z-N-T.
Miserable.
T? There's no T at the end of the alphabet.
You're under arrest for driving while intoxicated. You need to place the car and put your hands on the back.
Watch what she does to try to get out of it.
It's Don Williams, Officer Don Williams.
Never had a scene. I have had 4 scenes in my life.
I realize that it's not. I believe you're too intoxicated to be driving.
I'm really not.
Turn around. I got this stuff. Okay.
Is there any way that we can sell this to test?
Through what? I don't think it registered on me because sometimes people say things that are so off the wall. I think your mind tells you you really didn't hear them, and it took a little while for it to dawn on me what she had said.
Is there any way that we can sell this to test?
I tried to ask her again what she said. Through what? But she never would repeat it. I'd say it ranks in the top 5 at least of the dumbest things I've ever seen somebody try.
We all know that riding a motorcycle can be pretty dangerous, but doing it while intoxicated is inviting disaster. Look at this side.
He's not even on the right side of the road.
He's too
Oh, wow.
to realize that the vehicle behind him is a police car, videotaping his every move. After pulling him over, the cops plan to give him a sobriety test until they see how drunk he really is. Another dangerous thing that people do is letting their emotions determine how they drive. This can lead to obscene gestures, shouting matches, and a whole lot worse.
When I let somebody cut in front of me, and they just cut in front of me like I owe it to them, no thank you, no nothing. All they got to do is stick up their hand and say thank you to me.
But more often than not, courteous thank yous take a back seat to rude behavior. Here, one car pulls out of a parking space, while another patiently waits for the spot. It's this kind of inconsiderate move that can escalate.
Oh, that's not good.
Road rage.
Oh, the road rage, of course.
And it's becoming more and more common on our roadways each day.
Are they really all just carrying bats and maces in their cars?
In the office when they're driving on the road.
What are you beeping at? Everybody's in a hurry to go nowhere. This guy here, he's beeping. This guy here don't thank me. Now I want to go back. I want to slam the guy behind me. I want to slam the guy in front of me.
To settle this dispute, one of the enraged drivers grabs a baseball bat, the other a steel wrench. But the bat-wielding driver also has a can of mace. Overmatched, the driver of the white car makes a hasty retreat. Fortunately, his terrified wife and child manage to escape unharmed.
When we return, catching the buzz can be pretty tough.
Wait, I want to get on this buzz.
Plus,
I don't want this much speed.
a new meaning to getting stuck in traffic. And a driver takes the wildest shortcut ever caught on tape.
Wow, look at the trail he's leaving.
of the worst drivers on the road are beginners. I know everyone has to learn somewhere, but it's scary to think that these novices are getting their training on the same streets and highways we're driving on with our families. If you're not sure what I mean, check this out. The cops are pulling over this rookie driver because he just ran a red light. But with the entire street to choose from, look where he decides to pull over, right in front of the sprinklers. His wife gets out of the car, and of course gets soaked.
I'm sorry, sir. Did you call me?
Yes. Why don't you pull up past the sprinklers?
What?
Here comes her husband to help, but for some strange reason, he also exits through the passenger door and walks right into the sprinklers.
Pause the what?
Pull the car up past the sprinklers.
Pause the what?
Pull the car up past the... Take the car, drive it up past the driveway and the sprinklers.
These confused motorists are graduate students enrolled here in the United States. Needless to say, they're not majoring in driving.
Holy smoke.
She wants him to pull over and park, but he's not quite ready.
This guy doesn't have a driver's license.
Your subject,
These people cannot drive.
a valid permit, requires corrective lenses.
Although he's got all the room in the world to park, he just keeps going. Finally, he stops the car.
How long you been driving?
No, that's only 2 months.
Not very good.
Not very good, no.
He's acting nervous.
While the cop is doing his best to remain calm, he looks to the camera as if to say, "Help?"
How much? $68.
Oh my God!
They may think it's funny, but violating traffic laws is no laughing matter. Failure to properly operate a motorized vehicle can lead to serious consequences. But failure to properly pack that same vehicle can be just as dangerous. Check out this overstuffed van. The driver has packed it so full of carpet that his vision is impaired. Talk about overloaded. This cyclist couldn't understand why the cops pulled him over. I guess he thought his motorcycle could double as a pickup truck. If you think that's dangerous, take a look at this. The police have noticed that there are too many people crammed inside this tiny car. Watch closely as the family members pile out of the back seat. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Plus there's 1 more in the back and 2 more in the front, which makes 8 people wedged into that little sedan. To make matters worse, none of them was wearing a seatbelt. This moving company forgot the 3 most important rules for success in the trucking industry: safety, service, and strong rope.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Watch again as the trucker spills his payload all over the highway. Some people are a hazard out on the road. This guy's a hazard in his own driveway. This is a $3,000 Toyota on top of a $300,000 Lamborghini. Now it's a worthless Lamborghini with a $3,000 hood ornament.
Quite honestly, I don't know how it has happened.
It all started when Dad backed his Toyota right through the wall. Then he panicked, put the car in drive, and roared full throttle into the garage.
Right on the top of the parked car. That's what happened.
Dad phoned his son and told him there had been a minor mishap.
I actually expected a slight dent or a scratch or something like that. I mean, for a few minutes I didn't know what to say yet.
He has forgiven his dear old dad for wrecking his car, and his wife's car, and the garage.
He's an excellent dad, but I think his reversing has got a bit to be desired yet.
With so many bad drivers on the road, you might feel safer taking the bus. But you'd better choose your bus driver carefully. Sometimes catching the bus can be difficult, especially when there's no driver behind the wheel.
Oh. So there's no one in the bus?
This bus driver forgot to put on the parking brake. Then he got his arm caught in the door. Eventually, the trees stopped the runaway bus and no one was hurt. all get stuck in traffic, but very few drivers get stuck like this. This woman didn't follow directions and wound up driving into wet cement. You've got to feel pretty dumb pulling a stunt like that.
Silly, I think, would probably be a better word. She's very upset with herself at this point that she didn't realize what she had done until it was too late.
Now that's embarrassing, but she's not the only one. Here's another driver in the same sticky situation, made worse by the fact that a news crew just happened to be passing by.
Oh.
What's that for?
Local news, what happened here?
A man came at me out of this lane and I just swerved to the right. I don't want this on TV.
Maybe she should have thought about that before driving into wet cement.
Well, there are a lot of things that occur out there on the highway. It amazes even us when we're riding down the highway. As soon as we think we've seen it all, something new pops up.
Like this. Any dog can get a license, just not a license to drive. But that didn't stop this poop. Officer James Myers describes how Scraps got behind the wheel and drove this 2-ton pickup.
It took off, came this way, and as it did, it came through some cars over here, made a right-hand turn, started heading south to the parking lot over here.
But Scraps wasn't through yet. He zoomed out of the parking lot through this Ohio cornfield, then barely squeezed the truck between these two trees before slamming head-on into a telephone pole. The owner of the truck, Brett Donahoe, had gone into the store to buy flowers for his girlfriend and dog biscuits for Scraps. But he made one big mistake. He left the engine running. Scraps knocked the gear shift into drive and was off to the races. Brett thought the truck had been stolen, but when he called 911, the operator let him in on a little secret.
I said, don't tell me that dog took my truck. And she says, yeah.
Brett says he's forgiven Scraps, but no matter how much the dog begs, no more driving. Most animals don't need a vehicle to qualify as a road hazard. That was certainly the case with this racehorse who wandered away from his barn and onto the freeway. Watch again. Police are warning cars to slow down, but this driver keeps speeding along and almost runs into some real horsepower. Luckily, the horse wasn't hurt. After a few minutes, he was safely corralled and returned to his barn.
What the hell is that person doing?
As much horse sense as that horse. That's a 13-ton truck swerving to miss the 190-pound hitchhiker. With no regard for his own safety, he wanders out into traffic. Looks like the only ride this guy's going to get is in an ambulance. Don't you just hate those people who seem to be doing just about everything but driving when they're sitting behind the wheel? They're putting on makeup, fixing their hair, eating a burrito, talking on the phone, reading,
oh my
even
god,
acting like rock stars. If
reading
you're
a
on the road
book
long enough, you're bound to see it all.
I ride on a motorcycle and we have a very good view when we come up beside somebody and seeing sexual acts and naked people and I mean you name it.
Sexual acts in a driving car?
Speaking of sex,
Really?
this couple just couldn't wait to get to the motel down the road. A cop on a freeway overpass spots these lovers in the act and calls the emergency phone next to the car. And incredibly, the driver gets out and answers it. He then
Stop
tells
having
the cops to mind
sex.
their own business, waves, and picks up right where he left off.
Wow.
Over in this car, another couple is having a totally different experience. These two are definitely not driving down Lover's Lane. Finally, the cops pull them over. An officer tells the driver to get out of the car, but he and his wife are too busy arguing. Later, the driver would tell police he thought swerving all over the road would get his wife to shut up and stop yelling at him. Now he's in trouble with both his wife and the police.
Still to come. A driver looks for relief on the side of the road. And The worst drivers ever caught on tape.
Okay, that driver just doesn't know when to quit. He just keeps driving.
Before we take a look at the worst drivers ever caught on tape, it's important to remember that we can all learn from their mistakes. Like the driver who failed to look both ways before pulling into the intersection. Fortunately, the cyclist made a full recovery from his injuries. This driver thinks he owns the road and the sidewalk too. Watch as he narrowly misses these two guys on bikes. He maneuvers around another bad driver on the sidewalk. Then, he decides to drive on the wrong side of the road.
Where is he going?
He is eventually stopped by police, but not before he has driven nearly a half a mile through oncoming traffic. What happens when a 13-foot high truck tries to drive under a 12-foot high bridge? This driver was looking for a shortcut and wound up plowing through a farmer's field. I'm sure the farmer wasn't too happy, but at least we've solved the mystery about those crop circles. This driver finally realizes he's going the wrong way on the freeway. So he pulls into the breakdown lane and tries to figure out what to do next. He needs to get to the other side of the freeway. So he decides to play road planner and create his own personal on-ramp.
Gonna move all the traffic
This is an
cones.
extremely dangerous move. Not only is he risking being hit by oncoming traffic, he's also taking a big chance that he won't be able to safely merge onto the other side of the freeway. 5 minutes later, he heads back to his car, then slowly squeezes between the cones and drives off. But his attempt to save time backfires when he is later pulled over and detained by police. The driver of this truck belonging to Zippo's Circus didn't notice how narrow the street was. He also failed to notice the sidewalk and a couple of trees. He attempted a U-turn and got wedged in. Authorities had to cut down one of the trees to get the truck out. Guess who was behind the wheel when the accident occurred? That's right, Zippo himself. We've all been in situations where the most welcome sight on the road is a restroom. Apparently, this guy couldn't find one. This is more than just disgusting. It's also illegal. A female officer approaches. She doesn't give the driver much time to conceal the evidence. This is one ticket he could have easily avoided. He was only 100 yards away from a service station.